Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Marisa.
I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you don't like that, then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so, what are we... Again, you guys can, if you want some non-racy, Krolmeister
some non-racy Krolmeister
non-racy Nancy Drew content, you can go to hers very own podcast, Unlocked. We're just not talking to her interactive right now, so...
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah.
Like, we're not endorsing that podcast. We're just saying that that exists. So, if that's what you're into, go ahead. So, what are we talking about today, sister?
Well, today... we're talking about, casting some games.
Yeah, so, a little while ago, on Patreon, Melted Joan Cusack asked us if we would fan cast some games as, I think they said movies. We're doing movies, so that's what you get.
What's going on. Yeah.
So we each took a game and gave them a fan cast and how we would change around the plot to make it make sense as a movie. Because, amazingly enough, point-and-click games wouldn't make a good movie on its own.
No. You know, it's weird. It's like they're structured differently than movies.
It's like you wouldn't want a 10-hour movie or something. Crazy talk.
That's insanity. Wouldn't you want a movie about White Wolf of Icicle Creek where Nancy spends like 90 hours doing fucking chores?
Every single time you have to do the chores.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to do yours first or mine first?
Let's do yours first. Because let's be real, I kind of forgot to do some of the notes on mine.
That's fine. It's okay. So I chose The Deadly Device as the game that I would make into a movie because Deadly Device is just classic murder mystery vibes to me, right? It's so fantastic in the way that we do have like a full-on, we have the murder happen in the first act, which is, let me tell you, some of these Agatha Christie books I read, start to corpse time is very long. So, in this, literally, first scene, we get a murder, and then we have all of the people around our main suspect and everything who we rule out in the second act, Ryan. And it has a great structure to be made into a movie, in my opinion.
Sure.
So, my fan cast. As a reminder, our Nancy in our Nancy Drew cinematic universe, as Ariana put it.
The NDCU.
NDCU. Well, the KSNDCU, the Krolmeister Sisters Nancy Drew Cinematic Universe. Just putting that out there. Our Nancy is Zendaya, we decided, back when we did a fan cast of Silent Spy and Alibi and Ashes.
Yes.
So Zendaya is our Nancy. We love her. We think she would make a great Nancy.
Yes.
So, for me, the casting in this, some of these were really easy and some of these were really hard. And first and foremost, the easiest one of them all, Victor Lawsett would be played by Jeff Bridges.
Of course.
And he would just be reprising his role as Obadiah in Iron Man.
With a box of scraps!
Because it's literally, like, please look up pictures, right? Jeff Bridges and Iron Man, and then look at the little icon they have for Victor and Nancy's phone, and it's the same thing.
It is. It's the same exact, like, beard and everything. Everything's the same.
And the set of the mouth and everything, they literally were like, no one will notice.
No one knows it's Jeff Bridges.
It's Jeff Bridges.
Except for some, apparently.
Except for apparently one person on Tumblr who fan cast Victor as Bruce Willis. And
I have been laughing about that since you told me. Every so often.
Continue.
No, yeah. Every so often, because I told Adam immediately after you told me. And every so often, I would just start going, Bruce Willis.
Maybe I was thinking maybe they just Googled bald actors.
Probably.
I mean, but if you can't get Bridges, Bruce Willis will always take the part.
Right?
He was in the 2007 Nancy Drew movie, so...
He was.
Didn't he just play Bruce Willis?
I believe so, yes.
Fantastic. So, Jeff Bridges as Victor. Ariana came up with this one, but Alison Scagliotti? Yeah. Scagliotti as Ryan. So if you don't know who that is, she was Claudia on Warehouse 13. She has the perfect energy for this part. And you just put it like red hair on her and it's absolutely perfect. She's so adorable. She's high energy. She just has
I'm a fucking cool ass nerd.
Exactly. Like if she drove a motorcycle, I would completely believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would cast her as Ryan.
Yes.
For Ellie, I don't know why, but I immediately thought of Keke Palmer.
I think she could do it well.
I think it would be really good. Because I think she could really get that calm energy that Ellie puts out. And I would love a scene in that if in the movie I'm making in my mind, where she goes more in depth on why she doesn't feel comfortable in Colorado, and spoiler, it's the racism.
What?
Colorado is pretty anti-black, especially since this takes place in Colorado Springs, which isn't exactly, But yeah, definitely. For Gray, I would cast Jim Beaver from Supernatural. If you don't know who that is, he played Bobby on Supernatural. Mm-hmm. And to me, he is just that perfect, like, gruff guy who puts out that energy of, no, I don't have any feelings, but he very much does. And I think he could do such a good job of the emotional scenes of portraying, like, Gray actually, like, talking about how he, like, Nico was his friend and everything, and how he's upset and no one else is. Like, I can just see him doing that. And of course,
being Jim Beaver, he would somehow still make the character, like, Southern, but, like...
Of course. Gray is suddenly Southern. It's fine. I'm not questioning it. I'm fine with it.
Calls Nancy an idiot. We're like, what the... Is that something Gray says? No, it's something Jim says. We're just leaving it, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For Mason, Mason's the one that gave me the most trouble. I went through a lot of ones. For a while, I was wondering, because his last name is Quinto, so I was wondering if I should find someone who was Hispanic. But I also looked it up, and it's also just like an Italian last name. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I think I'm okay with casting a white guy. So I went with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because he is the most nondescript person I can think of.
Kind of is.
He is. And I think he could really do the, like, super uptight thing that goes with Mason, right? Highly strung is what he is. And I think he would do a good job of that.
Yeah.
And then I decided to recast Deirdre, because in our Alibi and Ashes, we cast Ariana Grande. And
I think we went really lazy there. I think we were doing other things at the time, and so we went Ariana Grande. I don't fucking know. She's pouty. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. We're not into it. Specifically, yeah. No thanks. So I actually chose Haley Steinfeld.
Steinfeld, yeah.
Steinfeld, thank you. Sorry. I only read her name. You know, the little girl from True Grit. But also she was in Pitch Perfect 2 and Pitch Perfect 3, and that's where I was like, she would make a fantastic Deirdre. And also she's part Filipina. And
okay, that tracks.
Yeah. Okay. So I was like, yeah. So, especially since, like, she's at least related to the Perrys, and they're supposed to be Asian. So I'm like, maybe Deirdre is too.
Yeah.
So, I just think that she has, like, like, specifically her in Pitch Perfect is what I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm. The kind of, like, running her mouth kind of thing that Deirdre does. I love it. So yeah, how would I rearrange this plot to make a movie, though? I did?
You did.
Nico. Well, that's because he's only in a couple scenes. And that's how they can afford Gary Oldman for Nico. Put the glasses on him, put the sweater on him. It's perfect. And he can just do some weird accent. Whatever he wants to do. He's Gary Oldman.
He's Gary Oldman. Do it. He'll just decide on the day. It's like, this is what Nico does now. Okay. Yes, sir.
Sure. So for me, I like Gary Oldman for the part because I can see him doing the, like, if Nancy finds the voice diaries, right? And I want it to be scenes of him literally walking around with a tape recorder and walking around doing that and, like, voiceover as he's doing things. Can't you see it? Because I can see it. And it's so few scenes that they can afford him. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, but the plot. Now I'm back to the plot.
Now we're back to the plot.
So I would really want to start the movie specifically with, like, we're following Nico into the lab. We pull back from the lab and everything. We hear him arguing with someone. We see the flashes of light and hear the electricity crackling. And then we hear him scream as the camera backs away from the... I like it. Okay, but honestly, there are a lot of puzzles in this game that could just be made into montages, like the whole lithography thing. Right? You don't have to care about that. But there are specifically some puzzles and everything that I think would make really dramatic cinematic moments. Like her doing the books in the whatchamacallit. In the, like...
Oh, in the lounge area.
The lounge. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. I was like, where the food is.
Where they put the free bagels.
Exactly. So in that area where she does, like, the books, like, I can see that as being, like, some, like, really dramatic thing, and you're, right, and having to figure it out. Same with, like, a really fun, dramatic montage of her trying to figure out Mason's whiteboard. Like, I can see that. And every time we have a call with, like, Deirdre, we get, like, whole shots of her at school, doing things, and we have an entire scene that's just Deirdre going through all of the images to find Ryan, to verify Ryan's alibi, and, like, we have this whole, wait, oh my god, I got it, I found the information, I have to tell Nancy, right? In my brain.
I got it!
I figured it out before she did.
I figured it out, Drew.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it doesn't really need that much rearranging to be a good movie. I think I would add in, like, to make everyone else happy, add in a romance between Ellie and Mason. And maybe, instead of just them talking about, like, selling the, like,
the proprietary information,
Yeah, you find the phone, and read their text messages. That's weird. We don't need it. I want Nancy to, like, see them, like, smooching. She spies on them smooching, and she's like, oh my gosh. So, that's my fan cast and how I would make The Deadly Device into a movie.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I like it.
Thank you. I do too.
Thanks. Yeah, and I feel like it's a good set, too, so it's like, you don't really have to... that's one of the well-designed ones. I mean, yeah, you're stuck in one place the whole time, but hey.
Saving budget so we can afford Gary Oldman.
Right, and it's good for a murder mystery, Takes place in one room where Gary Oldman is.
Exactly.
I like how we're worried about how much they're spending on Gary Oldman, not Jeff Bridges, for some reason.
Jeff Bridges is chill with it,
Or Zendaya, or...
I mean, fair. I'm just saying.
Or Haley Steinfeld, since, like...
I'm just saying.
Okay, so we'll move on to mine. I did Ghost of Thornton Hall. So I'm starting at the top, the tippy top, because yeah, we're gonna definitely have the ferryman who takes Nancy Daya. There we go, Nancy Daya. I just need you to remember that is Zendaya in these scenes because that's who I'm picturing interacting with these people. Yeah. The ferryman who takes Nancy to the island will be played by the ever lovable and never blend-inable Stephen Root. Fucking hands down. Doing some weird southern character, just like, well, I heard that... Because that's how he does everything, and I love Stephen Root with all of my heart, and so I want to hear him telling Nancy Daya all about the Thornton family before she gets there. Yeah, I just really want to hear him talking. I just any chance to cast Stephen Root, really. And then in no particular order after that, I'm like, no, starting with goddamn Stephen Root. I got for Jessalyn, I think Thaisa Farmiga, who you may know from American Horror Story primarily, honestly. I think she's been on a few seasons, so I think that's what a lot of people will recognize her from. She's just perfect for that part, I think, because in part she's a very good tabula rasa. And I think that's what Jessalyn kind of needs to be. She needs to be sort of like a person that someone can like, I don't know, I'm not putting it right. But
I mean, you could use the English words blank slate.
Right, but whatever. Point is, she's got those big eyes that can convey like a certain level of naivete, and she also has the ability to like show when she's like reached a level of I'm done putting up with this shit. That I think she'd be good for that character because she's just been playing the rebellious teenager for a very long time. So let's move her into the rebellious 20-something-year-old, okay? It works. And I've never heard her do a southern accent. I have to assume it's like her sister Vera's, which isn't great, but it's fine.
Judge people on their sisters. If people judged your accents on mine.
It's different, though, because the Farmiga sisters are just... I'm pretty sure Thaisa was just cloned from Vera. Like, look them up, sister, if you're not familiar with them. Because
I know.
She's just a clone. It's wonderful. They're great. I love both of them. But they're just clones.
No, I think they look slightly different.
I mean, slightly.
But I agree with the casting now that I know exactly who it is from American Horror Story.
Yes.
Definitely.
There you go. Okay, and next up on my list is Harper Thornton. I'm just gonna
say, no, it's not Helena Bonham Carter. She's, first of all, she's too old.
Let's start there.
We'll just start there. Second, she's not that good.
She's not, and I'm tired of the myth that she is. I too bought into it for a little while. I thought, I saw a couple of her roles and I went, oh yeah, she's good. No, she's not.
So she's good in some things, and then she just kind of got hired to do the same exact thing, and she just never...
It's the Johnny Depp disease, wherein she never had to change her tone.
Range.
Yeah. So that's just where she's stuck. But anyway, for Harper, I actually struggled a little bit, because, I mean, everyone knows that that's the best character. One of the best characters.
Thank you.
One of the best characters. I did want, like, I thought very strongly about Eva Green, because she carries that level of intensity that is just, and that level of intensity and chaos that I love. But I did have to, but I also wanted, I like our fan theory that that Harper and Charlotte are of mixed race, and that Mariana was
No, not Mariana. Dodge. Because remember, Mariana is actually one of the Thorntons. Dodge is not the Thornton.
That's right. The other way. Whatever.
Yeah. We figured it out. Thank you to the 5 people who corrected us.
Thank you. Sorry.
We completely misread a family tree. Continue.
That's how we do. When your family tree's as fucked up as ours. No, but so I finally went. Another day. I went with Ruth Negga. She's honestly not a very big actress, but I adore her. She was in Preacher as Tulip, the southern stick of dynamite that traveled with Preacher. I love her. She's a little short and a little young for the part, but honestly, she has such chaotic, sad energy, and I think she would just be an amazing Harper. She, oh god, she's fantastic. I love her. Also, I feel like this is the second time that we've done this, and the second time that I've brought up an actor from Preacher. Last time it was Joseph Gilgan. So apparently I just like their actors. Anyway, but yeah, no, she really knows when the crazy is and where the actual crazy starts. The first crazy was in quotations for those of you actually listening to the podcast. Can't see my fingers. I had a real tough time with this one, you guys. I spent all day casting this fucking game. Clara, I ended up going with Paget Brewster, who I love her. She's really primarily a comedic actress, and she's fantastic. But I feel like she has just this stern face that would just be brilliant. I think for Clara, she would bring such a level of just arrogance and stubbornness to the part that would just be perfect. I mean, obviously I just cast people that I like, so I'm obviously going to say to each of these people, ugh, they're fucking great. But no, I love Paget Brewster. She's fantastic, and I don't think she gets enough work, and I want to see her everywhere.
Okay.
Moving on. Savannah, I also struggled, but especially since, it's like Savannah could be anybody because we don't see her, so that really kind of opened it up a little bit. And so you'd think that'd make it easier to pick somebody because I could just go, but no, that made it so much harder. I ended up going with Betty Gilpin. I think it's probably just because I saw a commercial with one of the other girls from Glow in it. But I'm sure she does a good Southern accent, but she does this terrible Southern accent in Glow, where when she's Liberty Belle, and she's just, but I can totally see her doing it even better and just being a ridiculous Savannah. And I also would just like to see her having scenes paired up with the Wade that I cast, which, that segues into Wade, James McAvoy. Now, I'm not going to actually make an argument for James McAvoy, because why the fuck not James McAvoy?
A lot of fan casts cast him as way older than he is.
Yeah, everybody seemed to cast him way older. There's a lot of Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I could totally see a case being made for Jeffrey Dean Morgan 10, 15 years ago. Dude's pushing 60. I love him.
Yeah.
Dude's pushing 60. Again, back in the day, he would have been great. Because he can do that, just very quiet, purposeful talking. But we all know James McAvoy could do literally anything.
Any part.
He's phenomenal. If you don't actually want to watch Split, the movie in which he's the supernatural guy with the multiple personalities.
Dissociative identity disorder?
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Jesus, I couldn't find the word dissociative. Which, but he's, if you just look up his bits in it, his various characters, he's just phenomenal, and he just changes them at the drop of a hat, and so that guy can do whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, not whatever the fuck he wants, you know what I mean. Acting-wise.
Sure.
Another, man, this cast is fucking huge. Colton.
Yeah, I picked one with a very small cast.
I don't know what I was thinking. Colton. I went with a young actor. Okay, he's 27, but he plays young characters.
I mean, he should be like 27 though, because Colton was old enough to remember Charlotte when she died in 1989.
Let's say he was 4 years old at the time, so like I'm like, okay, fine. Honestly, I was looking for older actors, but Casey Cott, who you may know from Riverdale as Kevin. That's really pretty much one of the only things he's been in. But, like, he's actually played several characters on that show because what the fuck is Riverdale anyway? But that's a topic for another day. No, but he's great for that character because I think he already, as Kevin, brings just this. He's this adorable thing that also has this level of charm and just like sarcasm just constantly. And I think he'd just be perfect for it. And he's also just a really great actor who knows how to like also work in those levels of hurt that just sort of peek through. And it's and for Colton, I think that's very important. He's a little baby I want to protect. And also, I think that, his sexuality would also be brought to the forefront, because I wholeheartedly believe. Anyway. Then that brings us to, for some reason, I don't know what order I did this in, Addison.
You're like thinking of the characters in order of which ones come to my brain first.
I guess, yeah. Addison, I would actually have be physically in it too, just like Savannah, and I would want to have like flashbacks with her and Jessalyn and shit like that, and actually show that Billy Lord. If you don't know Billy Lord, then I don't know how to help you. Carrie Fisher's daughter, just fantastic. I think I might have like gone with the American Horror Story Association for her and Tessa Farmiga, but I think it would be great for her because she would just getting to see her act like all silly with Jessalyn, and then being like terrified of it. She'd just be the great worried friend, and I'd love to have her like actually be in contact throughout the game, not just like.
And when you're like those phone calls that you have with Addison, instead of it just being her telling you, it would be like a slight voiceover, and then you see the scene.
Yes, and same with the recordings you find, like because I would fucking love to just watch her freaking out a little bit and being like, Jess, where are you? And she's just like freaking out, and then like there's Tessa Farmiga in Farmiga fashion, fucking just standing at the end of a hallway looking disgruntled, and just like she's just witnessed something horrible, and you can only kind of see her, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then you're like drawn into it, and she's just, get out! And I love envisioning that scene so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Billy Lord would be great for that. Moving on. Charlotte. I don't know why Charlotte came last, but she did.
Saving
Charlotte,
the best for last.
I struggled again, but I ended up landing on Vanessa Morgan, who has mostly done teenage kid stuff. She did My Babysitter's a Vampire on Disney Channel, and she is Tony on Riverdale. But I think she would make a beautiful Charlotte, and I think she would do the hauntings very well. Additionally, I do want to have, like, flashbacks again of her, you know, just before. I guess I should have cast younger Harper, Wade, and Clara, but I didn't, so fuck off.
That's already too many people. We just use CGI to make them look younger. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. But no, yeah, and I'd love to have, like, those flashbacks of her, and so have her just kind of being, like, figuring shit out about her family. And because she definitely does smiling and being radiant while you can tell she's very worried about something. She does it very well. And I also think that she and Teysa side by side make for those, you know, this is the light of our family. This is the, you know, this is the good one, while also, you know, figuring shit out and being tired of people's shit. And, you know, I think they both work for that. So, and I really think that when you actually make it as a movie, for, you know, moving on to the plot, when it's actually a movie, I think it would behoove whoever does it to actually do it in horror movie fashion. I want to see
Southern Gothic.
Yes, I want to see that blue filtered fucking movie. I need it. Like, they kind of tried to do it in the game with the weird sky with the green. I don't know what's supposed to be happening in that game, but, like, yeah, really commit to the horror motif. I want to feel it. I want this to be, and finding that fucking footage in the burnt down ruins.
Imagine all of the Charlotte, like, scene. Exactly.
Yes. Just like, it could be so good. And all you gotta do is just sort of trim away the weird parts of the puzzles, and it's not too bad, really.
I mean, we're not gonna have Zendaya shove a bunch of oranges in her pocket.
God.
We're not gonna, and then have to go dig nails out of the wall.
I would, however, love to have a scene where she's standing in the room talking to Clara, but she just keeps putting sugar in her tea.
To
like,
see if
way
Clara
too much. And Clara just goes, honey. I think that's absolutely necessary. But otherwise, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about the movie version of Ghost of Thornton Hall.
So yeah, that's how we would cast the movie versions of The Deadly Device and Ghost of Thornton Hall. If you guys think you have a better fan cast, please tell us on our Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, or our fancy website, krolmeistersisters.knifefightclub.com, because sometimes people leave us comments there. That's not just spam.
Really?
Yeah, every once in a while. Twice, actually.
Every once in a twice while.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Spotify, and you can let us know things there. Do people let us know things there, sister?
I don't look enough. I'm sorry.
But you can find us there, and you can listen to us, so, you know, do that.
Yeah. You can also support us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on Twitch. That's what it's called, subscribing. You can subscribe to us on Twitch to get access to our cute little wine glass emote, as well as our Scopa emote. Scopa! Or you can support us on Patreon to get access to stream cat pictures, which I just posted one in Discord. And podcast night VODs. That's what I'm talking about.
So you can see the stream cat that walked by earlier in this episode.
It's true. Yeah. So, as a reminder, I'm Marisa.
Mariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. And we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.